Hi and welcome everybody. I am here today with Carl Steib, who is an expert in converting sales pages. So I know that this is something that a lot of people get stuck on. How do you create an excellent landing or sales page to sell your product or service? So I thought, what better way to do it than to actually review one of mine that I'm going to be changing and get Carl's expert opinion on what's working well and what I can do better. So we're actually going to provide a series of talk-through videos where you're going to get a ton of value out of this. We're going to be critiquing it live, we're going to be making the improvements, and we're going to show you the final outcome of the sales page. So, welcome, Carl.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I love doing these, so it's my pleasure.
Yeah, and I think it's highly valuable. Like, I know this is something that so many people get stuck on. How do you even start with a landing page? What elements do you need? So we're going to be looking at, the key things that you really need to consider and hopefully make this job for you a lot easier so that you can go and do it yourself or with a little bit more help from Carl and me. All right, so let's get started.
Yeah, and real quick, you're right. It's almost like you look up at this huge mountain of a sale, like this sales page that is on this blank screen. You don't know where to get started. You don't know what works, what doesn't, and that's what this video is about. It's kind of helping you, give you the basics, and you can really, help your biz really take off online and make those little improvements. Okay, so we're going to start off. This is Natalie's main page, and then we're going to go to her biz shop. And this is where we're going to start. And we're going to talk about all the different things that go on with Natalie's website and what she's trying to accomplish. So Natalie, real quick, let's talk about who your target market is and what you're trying to get them to do when they land on this page.
Yeah, definitely. And just for those people who are watching, this is going to have a complete revamp. So I'm minimizing the amount of products that I'm going to be offering to people and really, really tightening that because I know my niche so much better and I know who I want to be targeting. So really my ideal client, customer, and community member is somebody who is wanting to build more of a lifestyle business and create more freedom for themselves. So I'm not expecting that they want to live out of a suitcase and travel around the world, but they are wanting to build a portable online business that they can run from anywhere. So everything that I do, I want to make that easier for them. And my products and services are often based around how to do that with online tools, social media, and outsourcing, because I believe that those three areas are pretty key for people to know more about and understand. So that's the kind of gist of it. And generally, my customers are at the beginning stages, so they've been in business maybe for a year or two, or they're still working and they're wanting to start a side hustle. So they're very much eager to learn lots of information, but from the technical point of view, things are pretty overwhelming. There's tons to learn. They're really just getting to grips with social media, with the tools they need to use to have an online presence. So really just trying to break it down and make it as easy as possible for them. And that's what, in general, my products and services are aiming to do.
Okay, good. So as you can see, your BOIOB, Build It Your Own Business Guide, the ultimate toolkit for entrepreneurs. You have four products, which, like you said, you want to condense down, and then you have the mastermind group.
Yeah,
it's a
which is
clean
a joint
design.
program as well.
Yes, it's a clean design. It really lets you know exactly what you're offering, which is great. Um, and real quick, what are your goals with this page? Do you want when people hit it, they know exactly what you do?
Exactly. So right now it's failing to do that because essentially it's not like an e-commerce online shop, and it should be more. That should be easier buttons to buy things. So essentially I want people to get there and almost see like a tree, a decision tree of if you're this kind of person, then these products are right for you, and if you're at this stage, then these kind of products are right for you. So that's what I feel it's missing right now. I want to guide people to the best part on what is going to be the best product or service for them. And as you mentioned actually before we talked, my most popular selling item is my BYOB. I mean, I love it. It's a great guide. I get fantastic feedback from it. But also it is prime of place. So it's probably one of the first things that people click on. And once they're there, they go off to buy that. And then that's fantastic. But they don't necessarily come back to this page or look at other options.
Yeah. And that's a part of and that's one of the things when I work with my clients is talking about what's that narrative that you're really trying to accomplish. When people hit that page, um, what is that thing that they want from you? And who are you? What makes you that expert that can help them? And I think creating those two different levels will help start that narrative and really help them understand, yeah, you're not just for beginners, but you also help people who have started their business and they need some help and they need some guidance along that way. So that's a great start, and that will kind of help refine that narrative and who you are. And that's kind of I want to focus on the positive here too, in the fact that it's very easy to understand. The letterings is smooth. What you're trying to do, and even the click here, grab your copy, it does stand out. And what's nice is it doesn't hit you in the face, and that's some people do that. It's like they put these big buttons on their page, and it depends on your audience, and from your personality and from the talks that we've had, you like a subtle approach, and you like something that is not too in your face, and that's how when we craft this, that's how we want to come from. And that's important when people realize when they write their sales page, not to just copy from someone else, but to really think about what they like and how they like to be sold to, and how they like to help people. Because that's, if you really look at the sales pages that work well, they come from the heart, and they come from a place of, I'm here to help you. I'm not here just to take your $97 and go off to the Bahamas or whatever. So
well, I might. I'll probably do that on my own dollars.
So we're gonna now we'll dissect a little bit of the design here, and design is really so critical to helping people understand who you are and what you want them to do. And it's from Steve Jobs of Apple, he understood that. He understand when you hold the iPhone in your hand, it needs to be intuitive, and your sales page needs to have that same feeling. So one thing that you do when you have your main page is you want to take away as many distractions as possible. And if they're here to buy from you, a lot of them are probably have already signed up for your email. And so I would actually remove that and try to push everything up. As long as you keep your logo in there and even your tagline, a lot of times and this isn't too big of a deal, but your nav at the top, you want to think about removing any distraction that they have from not being able to find out what you do and how you can help them. So all these links at the top is easy for them to hit this page and then be like, well, maybe this is too soon for me, and they never even got a chance to go down below the fold and start reading about your offers and what they could do for them.
So just to interject here, so this is actually a template within my WordPress site that is a standard page. So you're actually almost saying this should just become a complete landing page. So the look and feel is still the same, but that banner at the top and the opt-in and the navigation will actually pretty much disappear. So they still know they're on the same site, but they've come to the biz shop.
Yes. Yeah. And you want them to be able to, land here and start reading and kind of get sucked into what you're offering and how valuable these guides are and how much it can help them. And, giving them that opportunity to kind of dive in and let them click around without being able to click away allows them to really kind of explore instead of have the ADD, the web ADD, have them click away to something else that, might distract them. Okay, so as we move to the bottom, we've already talked about how we can split these into two categories and what you're trying to do. And at the bottom here, you can leave your sign up. if they get to the bottom and they're like, well, maybe I'm not quite ready yet, but you want to capture their email, I would do that. And you might even want to take away these links at the bottom. Just capture the email, and if they want to click back to check out your blog, or maybe there's a post that's really popular, a lot of times that can keep them on your page if they don't feel like signing up for the email. I would remove these share buttons. Very few people will actually share a sales page. You know, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, you can see the count is people have done it, but it's kind of low. And to be able, and that's just another distraction for them to kind of look at and decide, well, she only has 17 shares or 3 Facebook shares. That's not a lot, and then they might click away because they don't see that social proof. But people don't share sales pages, so it really doesn't add up for you. You know what I mean? It doesn't help you in any way. Okay, so we're going to talk about the narrative next. So before we get to the BYOB, because we wanted to hit this page and help people understand, when they create a sales shop, you want to make it really powerful in the fact that they know what they're getting and what type of product they're looking for, because they're here to gain help from you. They're here to learn from you, and they've probably signed up for your email list, they've read your blog, and now you've built up that trust, and they're here to check out what you're offering and get to that next level. And with these, one of the most important things that people, when you write copy, is to use the word you. And the reason is because you're talking directly to the person. And that's one of the things that we can improve in your copy here, is basically talking to that person. When you talk about build your own online business, you want to talk about to them and say, you're here because of this, this, and this guide can help you with this. And when you click here, you'll find out more about what this book can do for you, and really, help you become a better entrepreneur, become a smarter entrepreneur, or make that leap and, not have, hit those pitfalls that a lot of people have in the beginning. So click here, grab your copy. It's a kind of a weak call to action. And that just something along the lines of, you want to talk about, so let me turn this back on you and say, what happens when someone wants to find out more about BYOB? Like, what do you think is that reason?
I think in general, it's the fact that they want to know how to build a business and how I've built mine. So one of the biggest things is I picked this up because I wanted to get your advice and expertise on it. It's a very friendly book, like it's very much written from the point of view of what I've learned and what I've done, and break that down into really tangible, easy to understand methods. And it's kind of fun and lighthearted, but it also has, as I said, a lot of advice and checklists, etc. So I think the biggest thing is that the right people come into my site, because this is my most popular selling item, pretty much that's what people want to learn. How do you even get started?
Okay, so I take you behind the scenes, because it feels like, they're getting, special access. But then talk, that's great copy. It really is. That's powerful. But the last sentence is, you can get the audiobook to listen while you're on the move. It doesn't really do anything for them, and then click here to grab your copy. So that last sentence should really be that call to action, and then it can, basically, click here to get your business to the next level, or, click here to learn these, these tips that helped me through my process. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that's quite a long call to action as well. So if
it is. So yeah, it's as I'm talking, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think of a really quick call to action, but click here to
Find
get
out
your,
how or something.
yeah, click here to, you know, buy BYOB instead of, instead of just grab your copy. And then that last sentence right here, this is where that strong call to action should really make them realize, oh, this is why I want this book.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to the BYOB page. But you've done some great stuff already, and that's why it's a well-selling book. And no matter what, so when I give a suggestion, a lot of it is from working with other clients, but it doesn't work for everybody's audience. Your audience is different from, everybody else out there. They're there because you've built up that trust with them. And it's good to test things out and see, okay, maybe I have a, add to cart button. You'd be surprised by just add to cart is something that might be more clickable than grab your copy. So it's just trying different things and not being afraid to experiment a little bit and see, what increases your conversion rate or doesn't. Okay, so we've arrived on your BYOB page, and the same thing goes for this page too. They have that you have your email sign up. You've got your up here. You have your navigation bar. I would remove that and keep and push everything up. And this is where the meat is. This is why they're here, and this is you're here to help them, and as well as make money off of what you do. It's a symbiotic relationship. Any business, they hope that you hope that they get more value from your book than they feel that they paid for it. And it seems like that's what you have going for you, and it's just refining this a little bit and getting people to understand how good this book is and increase that in conversion rate by a few percentage points. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. Great title, Definitive Guide to Creating Your Ideal Lifestyle Business. It tells people exactly what it is, and then you talk a little bit about who you are and take you behind the scenes of your six-figure business. So now what would be a good thing would be to tell a little story about who you are. Bring that narrative in and, remind them that they're here because of what you've been able to create and, your ability to work from anywhere. And that is super enticing for a lot of people, because you went straight to the testimonials. You probably want to push them down a little bit, suck them in with, how you were able to do this, why, why you were able to do it. And then, if you buy this, you're going to get the step-by-step guide to do this. So I think that would be a good little paragraph, kind of remind them who you are. And I love the design of the book, by the way. It's very simple, it's eye-catching, and it's very professional. And it's so important to have that because people feel that and they're like, okay, she put work into this. She's really cares about the design of this, so I can tell that this book is going to be valuable. So do you by chance know your conversion rate on this page?
You know what, when you were talking about that, I was like, oh, it's terrible. I haven't looked at my stats for a while for how many visitors I get to it and then how many people convert. However, having just switched over to Infusionsoft, I'm really excited to see the results from that, and I'll have much more in-depth data from that. And that's part of why I'm wanting to do this series, to show people how to better build their online sales funnel, which is what my next book is about. So at this very moment in time, I do not have it, but you helped me out there. It's a really, really valid point.
So, and a lot, you'd be surprised how many people don't. I mean, really large businesses don't test, don't really do A/B testing. And for people who don't know what A/B testing is, it's creating two different types of pages and splitting the amount of traffic between the two pages and seeing what page does better and why. And it's really, what that means is just changing a little thing. It could be putting the testimonials down and putting your blurb there about who you are and what you do, and you might see an increase of 5-6% of the sales of your book. It's a lot of fun, but it means you have to get some good traffic, and a lot of people who are just beginning, it takes time to build up that traffic. So, don't be discouraged, especially by your first sales page. It takes a little while to figure out what works and what doesn't.
And just for people who are watching this, how you work out your conversion rate, as I understand it, is that how many visitors are coming to this page. So let's say you get 200 people a week visiting this page. Of those 200, how many people are buying? So if you had 20 people buying your product, then, unless I've got my math wrong, that's a 10% conversion, right?
Which would be fantastic.
It would be very high. What is the, out of your knowledge there, what is the average conversion rate on a landing page? Average. I know this differs for people, but
yeah, I would say 1 to 3%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot lower than people think. So don't be put off if you're not converting at the moment. But.
Yeah. And yeah, so if 200 people come, you might get 2 sales. And for some people, getting that to their sales page is difficult. It takes a while to really get that traffic and get in, like you said, that sales funnel from Facebook to your blog to your sales page is a process, and it takes a lot of work to be able to make that happen.
Exactly. Okay,
so what are your main goals for this page? Do you feel like
Great question.
Okay.
So I obviously want them to buy the guide and generally the complete guide, because there's a coaching video within that. I just had it all updated, and I'll be releasing the latest one soon, which I'm really excited about because I put a bit more value into it. But essentially I would love for them to buy it, and then to actually get into my sales funnel where I will come back to them and ask for their feedback, because one of my biggest pet peeves is people who buy things and then don't take action. And I think that this is one of the books where people have come back to me and said, oh, I read through it and I've been implementing X, Y, and Z, which is exactly what I want to hear. So essentially I'd like to start a communication with them once they've got it, not bombard them, but just check in with them every couple of weeks after and say, have you read it? What did you learn? What have you applied? And then, of course, with that communication and that trust building, then I would love to be able to say, well, maybe you're ready now for the Build Your Online Sales Funnel, which is the book that I'm bringing out. And the Am I Your Customer? Maybe that's more relevant for you right now, trying to figure out your niche and how to charge what you're worth. So essentially, I would just like to keep introducing them to the work that I do and make sure that they have the best tools at their fingertips.
I like that. Okay. And that's something we can, let's just touch on real quick. It's always easier to sell people once than it is twice. So bringing someone in and they're ready to buy the BYOB, you can always upsell them at the bottom for that sales funnel book when it's ready. And you can see with Natalie's site, this is her best-selling item. There's always a chance for an upsell to help them with their business in another way. And if they buy 2 products from you, they're probably much more likely to take action on them. They're ready to go. They're ready to make that leap. And you can probably, more likely engage them and find that feedback too. So, and what's nice about an upsell is you can reduce that price because, they bought the 1. Hey, if you want to buy 2, you get this discount on it, which makes it more likely for them to buy 2. Okay, so you did mention how you like to get that feedback, and that's one of the things that I have with your testimonials. Some really good testimonials. I love them, the ones that you have here, but I think adding people's names would make it a little bit more tangible, make it that social proof, as well as people who've read the book, and it sounds like people have come back to you and implemented these ideas and have those type of testimonials on there. People can see, oh, if I buy this book, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be able to get these type of results. And that makes it even more powerful.
Yeah. And I've probably got a ton more testimonials that I can put in there. And you've once again caught me out. So for those of you watching this, I have not updated this page in so long because it converts really well in general, but I have not done any extra testing, and I certainly haven't added in a ton of the feedback that I've received since this book has been out. So great ideas there, and definitely. I usually put people's names and actually their URLs there as well, just to give them credit and thank them for giving me a shout out.
That's one thing that I was about to say is don't put people's URLs.
No, but I was, and I knew you'd pull me up on that. The other thing is not to necessarily click through and go after them, but actually put the, what their business is. So
yes. Yeah.
So they're a legitimate person, because putting Annie or John doesn't really tell you anything. But if it's John, business consultant, Annie, holistic nutritionist, it gives people go, oh well, I'm in the same line of work. Then if it's worked for them, it'll work for me.
Yeah.
So totally agree. You shouldn't provide URL links to make them click off your page, but you should make sure that they're a real person and show that they're legit and that they have a business or a lifestyle that other people can relate to.
Exactly. And, there's nothing wrong to linking to people in blog posts, and it's so good to send other people traffic, and especially helping people, who you admire. But when you're a business and you're here to, if you want to create your own online business, you have to think about keeping people on your sales page. And, it's a part of making sure that they get through your sales page, get more intrigued by what you're offering, get excited about it, and click that buy button. Okay. So once we, fix up those testimonials, put a little bit of a narrative of who you are. I like the 12 chapter breakdown. It tells you exactly what's in it, how it helps them. And then you have more rave reviews. And one thing that those testimonials will do, like after they've read them, and then they give you that testimonial of how it's those benefits that people want to hear about. They want to hear about, what happens after people read this book. And that's one of the things I think if you can help walk people through on this sales page, it's going to help increase your conversion rate. Because that's very, your chapters do that, but it doesn't really explain how it does that.
Okay, great point.
And then you have the buy buttons, and of course the red button, which is the more powerful signal for people to click, is the guide that gives the most value and is the highest price point, but very reasonable price point at $57. So I like how you set that up. It really makes sure that this is where you want people to go. This is how you can help them the most. And I like how clean it is, what they're going to get. They know exactly what they get for their $57. And then what else readers and listeners saying, and then this kind of brings back this proof again of, this is something that's really going to help them through that process of starting their own business. Then you have some actual photos from the book, which is good.
Yeah, just so people know what's inside the covers.
Yes.
One thing that you just alluded to there, which is really interesting, is that it seems very clear in which each of those offerings what they get, but you'd be surprised, and my tip to everybody watching is you can never be clear enough, because there are still people who will buy it and go, oh, I didn't get the audiobook, or I didn't get the coaching video, and I'm like, they're actually links within the book. So it's almost like you need to be as crystal clear as possible, and particularly on landing sales pages where people say, what happens after you hit buy? And the people, I think, who do a really good job of that will actually say, once you've hit buy, you'll be redirected to PayPal. From there, you'll be able to click and confirm. Then you'll receive an email with your downloads in your inbox, etc. And I think you really just can't be clear enough on a page of what happens when people invest in your product.
Yeah. And there's always going to be a few people who don't get it. So that's a thing with your sales page. If that happens on a regular basis, you know you need to go in and fix some of the verbiage in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we have the testimonials, and then we have I like these images. It shows how clean the book is, how well it's designed, and it's that proof of, you know, how hard you work to craft this thing that's really going to help them. Same thing, you actually have some good shares down here this time on this. So this is something you might want to think about leaving, because if it's 134 Facebook shares, that social proof has just kind of boosted you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the things that I have a sales page checklist when I go through. I went through your sales pages with that. We talked about improving the benefits. What's the benefit people get when they buy this book? And also, is a guarantee. Do you offer a guarantee by chance?
You know what, I actually don't. Not on this, not on lower priced items. If it was a program that they were going through and if they put in the work and they just didn't see the results that I promised them, then we usually offer 100% money back guarantee. But it's not something I do on this, and I have not had one refund on the BYOB. And I think I've only had 2 refunds in my entire time of selling products, which is pretty awesome. So if I was getting if I was getting people asking for more refunds, I might consider offering it. But I think people that have come to this point know and trust my work enough that I'm not going to give them anything that's crappy, obviously. Like, I only want to give them epic stuff that's really valuable. But I know how useful guarantees are, for sure. And would you say that's really one of the key things you should include in the sales page?
Oh, so like you said, you know your people, but this is something you should test. And the reason is you might have, let's say, 10 people a day who are on that fence, and they're probably ready to buy, and if they saw that guarantee, it just makes it a little bit more likely that they're going to be like, oh, if I don't like this book, I can just return it, or I can ask for my money back. Like you said, no one rarely ever returns anything, because, you know, if you put hard work into it and you've really created something that is useful for most people, you're not going to get those returns. But you're going to increase that conversion rate because they're going to realize that you back your products no matter what, 100%. So it's worth testing. It's worth really, you know, thinking about putting at the bottom. And then, so let's say they hit the bottom here and they have a chance to click away. So I would remove these links down here, the navigation links. I would remove the email sign up. If they've come here at this point, this is where I would put the add to cart button, or you know, click to buy, because really they hit the bottom of the page. You don't want to make them have to scroll back up to get back to it. You want to make it as easy as possible. And, you know, people like what you have to say. They got to the bottom. They're ready to buy, and if they think this is something that's going to help them, that buy now button down here, I think, will really help increase your conversion rate. And then at the even below that, a nice testimonial, real quick, you know, from someone that kind of reiterates how much this has helped them. Right there, right below that add the cart button, or click to purchase, and I think that will help too. It build that trust and that willingness to take you know, spend $57 and really, you know, take their business up to the next level, or at least, you know, make a go of learning about it and what it takes to really, you know, have a type of business that they can run from anywhere in the world.
Definitely. Excellent.
Cool.
So where to from here? Next, you'll come back to a brand new page and look at the difference.
But like I said, you've done some great things already. There's a reason people purchase this, you know, product on a daily basis. you probably get a lot of referrals, and that's that type of business is why people trust you and why they come and they buy from you. So, like you said, it's a part of your sales funnel. It's just doing a few things here or there that I think could really increase your conversion rate.
And by the way, I did just figure out my conversion rate. I looked at the number of visitors versus the number of sort of average monthly sales. So it's around 4 to 5% right now, which is not bad, but it could be a lot better for sure.
Yeah. So you're above the average, but yeah, with what you have here, if you make a few tweaks, you could really, you could probably even get that close to double digits.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's make it happen.
All right. Well, the next video, I think we'll talk a little bit about that copy and what it will look like. But this has been fun. Like I said, I enjoy doing these.
Some great suggestions. I hope you guys have learned a lot, and come back to the next video, which will be updating soon.